Alright guys, doing an oil change today. So I'll show you guys how it's done on my Legacy. And this will all apply to all like turbo models, or turbo Legacies from 2005 to 2009. And also the Outback XT turbo. So I always use the OEM Subaru filter. I know some people are against it, say it's not that great, but I've used them since I own the car and haven't had a problem yet. Also grab a new drain plug crush washer while you're at it. And the oil that I use is Shell Rotella T6 540 full synthetic. It's actually a diesel engine oil, but works really well on these motors and keeps the premature bearing failure from happening. Because I have close to 200,000 K, and I do some rallycross and some racing events with it, so I want to make sure I got a good oil. I'll keep everything lubricated. And personally, I do my oil changes every 4 months or 3,000 kilometers. That might seem excessive to some people, but this gives me peace of mind that there's always fresh oil in there, and should keep the engine healthy for hopefully another 200,000 K. It's always good to have your garage cat to help you out. This is Fluff. He's a mechanic. Sometimes he's a plumber too, and today he'll just be inspecting, making sure everything is tight and the oil is filled up. So my car isn't lowered, and I'm a pretty small guy, so I actually don't need to jack it up when I change the oil. So first off, just get underneath, got my light. I have a primitive racing skid plate, so I got 3 13mm bolts to take off. Got 2 in the front and just 1 all the way in the back here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'll take that off first and then I'll show you guys where the drain plug is. So there's a drain plug. It's on the driver's side of the pan. And then you have your filter right here, just behind the exhaust manifold. And the drain plug is a 17mm. So I'm going to go ahead and take that off and let it drain into the pan. And my pan isn't big enough to grab the filter and drain plug at the same time, so I let all the oil drain out of the pan first, then I take off the filter. So as you can see, the oil is draining into the pan, and while that's draining, take off your oil filler cap and now let the airflow go through and help it drain quicker. So now just cleaning up the drain plug, and you want to take your washer off, and with your new washer you want to put the flat side on the pan. You can see here, see if you can, there, a little bit better focus, and you want to put the rounded side onto the bolt itself. Now I'm going to take off the filter and should just twist off by hand. Just assuming you didn't put it on that tight. You're supposed to hand tight them when you put them on as well. Sometimes they get stiff after a while. I'll have to go grab the tool for this one. I just need a little bit of help. So what I like to do is grab it and spin it really quick and let the oil drain out of it. Let's go, and then give it a quick spin. Get your hand out of the way and let that drain. Now that it's drained a little bit, I'll just take it off. And I'll just put it upside down in my pan to let it drain. Okay guys, I put the drain plug back in. And one thing to keep note of when you're tightening is that the new crush washer actually needs to crush down or collapse a little bit. So you'll be tightening it and it'll feel pretty tight, but you have to go a little bit more of a turn to collapse that washer to create a good seal. Okay, now we're ready to put the filter back on. And one thing to do before you put the filter on is you want to lube the O-ring on it to make sure that it doesn't get caught or stuck when you take it off for the next time. So I like to grab the fresh oil and just get my finger with a little bit of oil on it and rub it around it to lube it up really good. And also when you're installing it, again you want to install it by hand. And once you have a hand tight, I like to go just a quarter turn with with just your hand to make sure it's on there pretty snug and tight. So I got the surface all cleaned up really nice. Still a little bit dripping, but that'll be pretty good. Now I'll just put it on. And it shouldn't be that hard to thread on, it should just spin on. So, like I said, get it pretty snug. Then I can still move it. And now it needs a little bit of force to move on, so I'll just take it and there you go. And that's, you don't need to go any tighter than that for your oil filter. So now we're ready to put in our oil, and the Legacy takes 4 liters. Okay, so I put in my oil, got the cap back on. Now I'm going to start it up for just about 30 seconds, get all the oil around all the engine and check for leaks and stuff. And once it's settled for another minute afterwards, I'll be able to check the level and top up to see if I have enough in or not. Okay, so I went underneath and there's no leaks. I checked the dipstick and had to top up just a tiny bit. But so that's how you do oil change on your 05 to 09 Legacy GT Turbo.